Yo! Video games.
Alright, so let's talk about Ubisoft's press conference. That was mostly an Ubisoft press conference, meaning that it was a lot of the things you totally expected to show up there, and maybe a few surprises. I have to say, I think this one was actually not bad, and I'll tell you a good reason why it's not bad. Because to rate a conference, I can't simply just say, oh, it doesn't have any games I want to play. I'm like, okay, did it present its games well? Here's the thing that Ubisoft did that Square didn't do, that EA didn't do, and Microsoft didn't do a lot of, or not nearly as much of, and that is they would start with a trailer, a guy would come out and talk about it, and then they would show a gameplay segment of the game. And they did that for a lot of their games too. So this gives me, I say Ubisoft did a lot better simply on the fact that they were willing to show the gameplay of their games. So, yeah, there was a lot of cringy acts and hijinks and stuff, but they actually showed the games they were talking about. And I can't fault them for doing that, even if I'm not interested in those games. Now, no Prince of Persia, Beyond Good and Evil 2, I guess they're trying to say that there's going to be more significant story-driven stuff, because after what they talked about last year and what it still sounds like, it's still more or less a game about, it's you build a custom character and then you make a custom crew on a ship and you do things open world style. It's not a linear plot-driven experience, but they're kind of still trying to make it that way, so who knows. We didn't really... We got a very tiny look at the gameplay for Beyond Good and Evil 2, but at least they did have their big cinematic trailer. They had their little snippet of gameplay, so at least there was that. They did what Bethesda really should have done, and they had Grant Kirkhope come out and with a small band play the music of a trailer to the trailer itself while showing it, which was cool and fun, and we got a nice little callback to DK64 music, which was really nice for me to see. They brought back two games I completely fucking forgot existed from last year, which was Transcendence with Elijah Wood, spooky VR game. Kenny will be excited. I whatever. And then they brought back Starlink, or as I like to affectionately call it, No Man's Skylanders. It's basically Skylanders with a more plot-driven, core cast of characters that have personality and there's more focus. And it has little toys you can play with, and I don't know how they interact with the game yet, but I'm sure they will. And then, of course, what was announced for Starlink? Fucking Star Fox. So Miyamoto was there, and it looks like you're going to be able to fly around in space with an R-Wing and shoot shit up as Fox McCloud. Pretty fucking awesome. That will be cool. I'm sure it'll control better than Star Fox Zero. So that was cool. We saw Skull and Bones along. Look at that. I mean, it looks really... Problem is with me with Skull and Bones is it looks cool, but the gameplay doesn't look that fun. It kind of just like a whole game around the ship combat from Assassin's Creed 3. But whatever. I mean, it's something different. There was fun stuff with Trials, and then, of course, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, which looks nice, but I don't know how... I expect it to be sort of like Assassin's Creed wobbly, janky controls, so... I mean, being that it is... I'm going to give this conference... I'm going to be generous. I'm going to give this conference an 8. Not because of the excitement I have, but for the fact that they were willing to play the fucking games that they brought there. They were willing to have surprises. So a lot of, I get it. A lot of people probably watching this video or with me live right now are probably like, no, fuck that. This was a 5. This was a 5 out of 10. I didn't care about any of the games. To me, it's like, it's not about caring about the games necessarily. It's the fact that they showed gameplay of the games. So I am not doing this on a personal scale, because on a personal scale it's much lower. I don't really care about any of the games they showed. I will try Starlink, but I'm going off this is what the fuck you're supposed to do. Show a game, hype it up with a trailer, maybe talk about it, then show the game. Show the fucking game. And Ubisoft did that. So I'm not going to sit there and say, I will not base this solely off of how excited I personally am for the games, because that's way lower on a personal, like, do I care about the games? No. But is this how I think a conference should be? Mostly, yeah. I could do without some of the cringy stunt shit, or shit. So it was kind of funny, but either way, this was really more or less what Bugthesda should have been. And I was saying Bugthesda was about a 7. I think I said that was about a 7. So yeah, this is like this to me. This is how you're going to do a present. And again, I can't sit here and say like, well, they didn't show this or that or whatever thing. It's a single third party. I think we have to hold single third party conferences to a different standard, because a first party conference, you're going to have big third party announcements there. When you're Ubisoft, you can only talk about Ubisoft games. So bearing that in mind, I feel like they did it right, even if it didn't have games that I wanted to personally play. So that is how I look at this Ubisoft press conference. Handled mostly well, obviously room for improvement. But I'm going to go on this fact that it's a single third party, so you're already limited on what you can show and talk about, and how they handled actually showing their games. They showed their games, so there you go. I could do yeah. So that's all I'm gonna say about the Ubisoft press conference. I think it was done well because it was playing the fucking games. So yeah, 8 out of 10 on for me on that fact that it's a single third party conference, and they showed every game and played every game pretty much. So that to me is better than, say, what EA did, and even better than what Bethesda did, which was like almost there but really not. At least you could say this: Ubisoft showed and told. They didn't just tell; they showed and tell. So that's why I generously say, hey, this is an 8. But not on a personal. Was I excited about the games? Not really. But good for them for doing it correctly. So that's all I gotta say on that. And let me know what you guys think. And I will catch you later, dude, for Sony's conference. Later, dudes.